Hello, everybody. Hi, Kihana. So good to see you. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Abby. Welcome.
Hello.
Hi, Tracy. How are you?
Okay, you?
I'm well, thanks. Where are you tuning in from today?
North Carolina.
Oh, amazing. How is the weather?
It's hot.
Hot. Just like here, too. I'm in Ontario. It's super duper hot. Okay, so we are at the top of the hour. We are going to start. Super excited to have you join me live. I'm going to keep my eye on the chat and I'm going to be letting people in as we go. Okay, so today's workshop is how to attract premium clients without chasing algorithms, social media algorithms. So I'm going to be sharing with you the only three strategies I am using right now that's helping me sign high ticket clients. So super excited. So let me let someone in. Okay, so um, just so you know, this meeting is being recorded. The replay will be available on my YouTube channel. There is no pressure to be on camera, okay? But I'm going to serve you today to my highest capacity. So you can ask your questions in the chat. You can unmute and speak. You don't have to be on camera. I'm going to help you, okay? So I just want to remove that pressure. You do not have to be on camera. As we go along, if you have any questions, pop them in the chat. And when I'm done, I'm going to come to the questions and answer the questions. So here's today's roadmap. This is what we're going to cover today. Right? And I know it's only 60 minutes, but I'm going to try my best to cover all these three things today. The first one is why social media alone is no longer cutting it, especially in 2025. I'm going to tell you the limitations of algorithm dependent marketing. And then we're going to move on to strategy number one. This is where I'm going to teach you how to leverage other people's platforms, other people's audiences to land high ticket clients. Then, strategy number three, I'm going to teach you how to reach people who are already ready to buy. Okay. Not people who are thinking about it, people who need your services right now. Then the third strategy, I'm going to teach you how to close one to many instead of just relying on one-on-one sales calls. And at the end, I'm going to bring all those three strategies together and I'm going to give you your next steps. Now, this is not a pitch fest. If you registered on my website, you would have seen the testimonials from past attendees of my workshops. I give value. And then at the end, I'll spend about a couple of minutes to tell you about how I can help you further if you choose. But this workshop, in and of itself, is so valuable that you can take the information and you can run with it. Also, for being here live, you're going to get a bonus. I'm going to give you my blueprint that you can personalize for yourself so that at the end of this call, you have everything you need to start taking action. So you're going to get that blueprint at the end of this call. Okay, so who is Joy Rowland? If you've never met me, maybe you found me on Eventbrite and you're like, who is this girl? I'm going to give you a very brief overview. Now, you must have received my email where I introduced myself, but if you didn't get it, no problem. My name is Joy Rowland. Fast track my story. I was born and bred in a northern town in sub-Saharan Africa in Nigeria. We're so poor, we couldn't eat. We only could afford, if we were lucky, one hot meal per week. And so my desire was just to help my family out of poverty. So this is me and my mom and my brother. We were living in a ghetto. We had only one room for six children and our mother. So it was pretty bad. But at the age of 25, I decided I wanted a better life. And so I wanted to go to the UK. This picture here was the day I was supposed to be married to a man 4 times my age. And in this ceremony, I actually escaped. And then this is me when I finally landed in the UK. So I studied in the UK, my master's in business information technology. And now my life is a complete 180. Like when I look at these pictures, I'm like, who's this girl? But that was me. Now I'm so blessed. I'm the CEO of a company called Clearcraft. It's a seven-figure AI product development company. I am also the founder and CEO of Joy for Money. So my goal here for this workshop is to show you what's possible for you if you believe and take action. So, question for you. What's your vision for your business? I want you to type in the chat. How much would you like to make monthly in your business? I want to see that in the chat, and I'm going to go. Let's see. Just going to let Martina in. Okay. Okay, type in the chat. How much would you like to make monthly? Yeah. 10K to start. Yes. Now, this workshop, like I said, you don't need to be on camera, but for you to get the value out of this workshop, the transformation happens here. Okay. Now, if you watch the video on the landing page, you'd have seen Dr. Charlotte. She said, my workshop was the best 2.5 hours she has spent. This is a medical doctor who coaches other doctors. And the reason she gave me that testimonial was because she was present in the class. Now, if you are unable to be present, I highly recommend you log off this call because it's useless. If you are not going to be able to be active in the chat. Now, the chat is not going to be public, so the chat is going to be private, but I want you to be very focused on the chat. Okay, so I'm seeing your goals. 10K to start, 20K to start, 5K, currently 215 profit, and would like to make $1 million or more monthly compared to other public relations firms in the world. Amazing. Awesome. Now, the next question is, what is the current price of your offer? How much is your high ticket program, the service you offer? Yeah, 1,495, 3,005. Okay, awesome. Okay. Tracy says she doesn't have one yet. Okay, so you need to start thinking of a high ticket offer. Martina says 6% of listing price on iron. Awesome. My highest service is 25,000 a month and lowest is 5,000. Awesome. 7K to 7,005 for my primary service. Fantastic. Okay. That's very, very good. Now, I want you to understand what the research shows. I'm very computer science based, but my background is computer science and I love math and I love to understand what's going on. Now, research by Wells Fargo shows that only 1.9% of women owned businesses will ever reach $1 million per year. Only 1.9%. Another research by Guardian Financial says that 44% of women-owned businesses currently report being unprofitable. So nearly half of women-owned businesses are operating on, like they're in the minus. And then the next one is 48% of non-employer women-owned businesses earn under $10,000 per year. What? $10,000 per year, nearly half. That is very sad. And the last one is by Simon Reynolds. He said 81% of all coaching businesses will fail by year number 3. Now, these numbers are very stacked for women owned businesses, not because we are not ambitious, but because we lack the strategy to get us those high ticket clients. Question for you. Which do you think is better? Trying to find premium clients or making yourself more findable by the people already looking for what you have to sell. Now, please put a 1 in the chat if you can see my screen. Can you see me? There's a slide on the screen. Please put a 1 in the chat because I want to make sure you're following along. Okay, Martina says 1. Thank you so much, Martina. Now, do you think you expend more energy trying to find and convince people to buy your services compared to making yourself more findable by the people already looking for what you have to sell? Right now in the world, there are thousands, if not millions of people looking for exactly what you have to sell. The only problem is these people are not finding you. So I want you to start shifting your mindset. Instead of chasing people in the DMs on Instagram, trying to make people buy from you, think about positioning yourself in a way that people who already want to buy what you have to offer can find you. For example, one of you is in real estate. Do you think there are people right now who are thinking of buying a house and just need someone to guide them? Of course. Now, think about positioning yourself in front of those people. Here's the problem with just posting and praying, which is what most people do. The people on social media are primarily on social media for entertainment. The people on Instagram and TikTok, generally, they're not in a buying mindset. Okay? The algorithm on social media is constantly changing. That's why there is unpredictable results. And that's why so many people are giving up on their businesses. Now, I went to the life coach school. I paid 21,000 for certification through the life coach school. There were a couple of thousand people that graduated when I graduated. I graduated in 2023. And of those people, I made friends with about 22 of them. Of all those 22 people, only me is still in business today. Why? I think, obviously, if their business was making money, they'll still be in business. So many businesses are not signing clients consistently. Also, there is low trust deficit. So some people say we're in a trust recession, especially for coaches and consultants. The rush we experienced in 2020 is not the same right now. So buyers are very savvy now. They want quality. Okay, they are no longer throwing their credit cards at you. Now, here's the winning formula: search plus authority plus conversion. That's the winning formula. And I'm going to show you what that means. Here's the first strategy. So I told you I'm going to show you three strategies. I'm going to show you three strategies. The first one is podcast guesting. Why podcast guesting? Well, when you go on another person's podcast, there is a trust transfer. You're leveraging the existing trust of the host and you're tapping into that host trust with the listeners. You gain instant trust in just 30 to 45 minutes. The people who are listening on podcasts, they are already qualified buyers, right? Because they have chosen to listen to a particular podcast. And research shows that podcast listeners are 5 times more likely to convert than people on social media. Okay, when I say trust transfer, what do I mean? I hope most of you know who Oprah is. These four people you see on your screen, Dr. Phil, Dr. Oz, Eckhart Tolle, Rachel Ray, they became popular leveraging Oprah's audience. Okay, so they wouldn't have the success they have today, very likely, if they didn't go to Oprah's show. Now, I'm not saying for you to try to be on the Oprah show, which would be nice, but if you're able to think the same way, to leverage someone else's existing audience to scale your business faster, you're going to get results faster. Okay, so that was Oprah's example. I'm going to give you my example. Okay, Dr. Valerie, Dr. Lisa, Dr. Saya, they found me on another person's podcast, another person's platform. They are now my clients. I only did the presentation for 45 minutes on that platform. And so far, just from that one session, I now have 7 doctors who have signed on my one-on-one coaching program. 5 of them signed on when my program was 5K. And then I raised my prices because I became full. And then the other doctor messaged me on Instagram and I'm like, my program price has gone up, it's 10K. And right there on Instagram, DMs, she asked me for my payment link and she paid 10K in full. So I'm trying to give you an example of how someone else's platform can help you grow your business very fast. Now, these 7 doctors I now work with, they never heard of me anywhere, only because I was on that lady's platform. And here's the lady I'm referring to. Her name is Tavona, and she organized a program for medical doctors and clinicians and healthcare providers who want to grow a business. And so she invited me to speak on how to sell. And just for selling on that, just less than 45 minutes, I have all of these people now in my program. This was the live I did with her on Instagram, and I just wanted you to see the screenshot of that. Also, from the same 45-minute talk I gave, I got this DM on LinkedIn, was from another doctor, and I just loved how she reached out to tell me she had watched my workshop on that platform, and it was just so beautiful. So I want you to start seeing how it's so much easier to convert people who are already listening and wanting to hire somebody. And just because I so happen to be speaking on that platform, I now have all of these people in my network. Okay. I went to podcaststatistics.com, and for 2025, as of May 2025, there are 4.5 million podcasts available worldwide. 4.5 million. And look at how many people are listening to podcasts every month. In the US, 158 million people. And so I'm just surprised and astounded at the number of coaches and consultants that aren't leveraging this platform. So crazy. Okay, so this is why podcast guesting works. You build instant credibility. You are talking to pre-qualified audiences. So, for example, if I was listening to how to invest in real estate, a podcast on how to invest in real estate, do you think those listeners are already looking to invest in real estate? Yes, that's why they're listening to a podcast on how to invest in real estate. If you, as a business owner, you help people invest in real estate abroad, if you get to be featured on that podcast, how likely do you think those people will hire you for your services? Very likely, because those are already qualified audiences. The other reason why podcast guesting works is because of evergreen content. You do the episode one time, people keep finding that episode over and over for many, many years to come, which is crazy, right? When I do my Instagram stories, it lasts for 24 hours, I think, and it disappears, right? But when I go on other people's podcasts, I keep getting DMs from people listening to that episode as new people find them. There's also no tech barrier. So if you guest on other people's podcasts, all you need is a Zoom link and a decent microphone, and you're good to go. So how do you implement this? So first, you're going to research the target shows. So based on your niche, just go on Apple Podcasts, type your niche. You're going to see gazillion podcasts come up. Identify 50 of those. Look for audience overlap. So don't just restrict yourself. So for example, I last week but I guested on a Christian women's podcast. So I'm not just focused on business podcast because I know Christian women, very likely, most of them have businesses. So I'm just giving you that example so that when you start implementing this strategy, do not limit yourself to just your narrow niche. Always think of audience overlap. And then step number 2 is to craft your pitch. I'm going to show you how I craft a compelling pitch. And the way I do mine, I've been tracking my numbers. I have over 76% success rate. So when I pitch on a podcast, over 76% of those I have pitched have said, yes, we want you on our show. And I'm going to show you how. And then step number 3 is consistent outreach. So you need to be consistent with this strategy. Now, you can do this manually or you can leverage AI. So I use an AI tool to find the podcast that matches the service I want to give, right? So technically you could go on Apple Podcast and you can manually search, but obviously we're all very busy. So I teach my clients how to use a custom AI tool that automatically matches you with podcasts already looking for guests. Yes, because here is another thing you have to be able to do. You have to be able to get the contact details of the podcast host. So if I went on Apple Podcast and I do real estate podcast, you're going to get a lot of podcasts come up, but the problem is you're not going to get their email addresses, right? So you need to be able to find the right email address for the podcast host. And I'm going to show you how I do mine. And then the call to action. When you get to interview on the podcast, you have to go with a lead magnet, a free gift, which you give to the audience. And then at the back of that lead magnet, you have what I call a nurture sequence to close them to becoming clients. And I'm going to show you how I have mine set up. I'm sure most of you would understand. Yeah, Kiana said that's how I found joy. Yes. Exactly. You're right, Kiana, right? That's how you found me. Awesome. So I'm going to show you how I do mine, and I'm going to show you my nurture sequence. I'm going to show you the back end of my business. You're going to see everything, okay? Okay, so very quickly, I want to show you how I do mine. So let me just grab. So I use a platform, and this is the platform I give to my clients. So you create your profile. I'm just going to zoom in so you see mine. You create your profile, describe who you are, describe the kind of topics you want to speak on, um, describe your proposed episode titles, give some questions you want the podcast host to ask you, add your call to action. So you see my call to action over here is my lead magnet. And then I added links to podcast episodes I have already guested on. Now, so this is what I teach my clients. I just want you to see how this can fast track your progress. So you don't have to manually go searching for podcasts. I teach how to use this tool to find podcasts who are actively looking for guests. Okay, so not just random podcasts, because so many podcasts do solo episodes. So when you launch a podcast, if you scroll down, when you see the description, you can tell if that podcast accepts guests, right? So that takes a lot of manual effort. With this AI tool, it automatically matches you with podcasts who are looking for exactly what you have to offer, which is crazy. So this is my profile. I'm going to show you some of the pitches I have sent so you see how it works. So I want you to see Dispense's response to my pitch. So I'm going to show you how I use AI to craft my podcast pitches. Now, when you pitch on podcast, if your pitch isn't compelling, they're just going to say no. Your pitch has to be highly targeted to the podcast. You cannot just write a template and just post to everybody. Okay. And I'm going to show you real time the AI I use to craft all of my pitches. So see, so my pitch is at the top and look at the response this person sent. I hope this message finds you well. I viewed your profile and would love for you to discuss your experience and knowledge and share your insights to my podcast audience. I love your bio and services you offer. I feel you would bring insight, hope, empowerment, and inspiration to my listeners. Wow. So this is in response to my pitch, right? I'm going to show you another one. It's just crazy. See, look at what this one said. She said, Phil, your message gives me chills. The way you shared your story, your vision, and your fire, pure alignment, your journey from zero roadmap to building a mission driven business during nap times and faith leaps is exactly the kind of truth our listeners need to hear. And look at the last sentence. She said, thank you for showing up with so much clarity and purpose. This is going to be powerful. Like these are people thanking me for the excellent pitch I sent them. And by the way, everything is crafted using AI. And I'm going to show you how. Now, hopefully, I don't have any of these people watching the replay because I don't want them to say that I'm using like obviously they're thinking I put in the effort, right? Because I'm going to show you exactly how it works. And it's just crazy that AI can help you turbocharge your business. Now, can you believe that in my business, I don't even have a VA, which is crazy. Everything in my business I do by myself. I'm considering hiring a VA, but the reason my business is so effective and so profitable is because I leverage AI. And I know so many people might not like AI, but AI has completely transformed my business. So this is the last one I'm going to show you. I want you to read this response. So this is from the host of the podcast, right? And she said, wow, my listeners and I would love to know the methodology you use to get out of your own way. Now, the AI I use tailors my pitch to the specific podcast, and I'm going to show you how that works. Okay, the last thing I want to show you before we move on is how many podcasts I have booked for the next couple of days. I'm going to zoom in so you see. See, look at the number of podcasts, which is just crazy. See? Okay, so let me move on. Um, okay. Okay, so this is a message I got on Instagram from somebody who found me on a podcast and someone recommended my podcast. I'm going to zoom in so you can see as well. One sec. Uh, okay, so she connected with me on Instagram, added me as a friend, and everyone that adds me as a friend, I send a message to say hello. Thank you for adding me. Where did you find me? So I sent that, and then it was a voice note. And look at her response. I was referred to your page and podcast yesterday and decided to follow along, which is crazy. Okay. So this is how you can stop chasing people and actually have people start finding you. Okay. So that's strategy number one. Let's move on to strategy number two. Did you know that research shows that for someone to be comfortable investing high ticket in your services, they need 11 hours of content? 11 hours, which is like, what? So that is why I see so many people struggling on Instagram, just posting 60-second reels and expecting people to just DM them to ask to work with them. For people to be comfortable to pay you thousands of dollars, they need 11 hours of content. Not just about going viral, it's about deep engagement and consistent value delivery. So here's a question for you. Where can I find 11 hours of your content? If I search your name right now on Google, can I find somewhere with 11 hours of valuable content that I can binge on? This is the critical question that high ticket clients are asking right now. So, if you want to sign high ticket consistently, if you don't want to rely on referrals, I know many of you rely on referrals, but referrals can be very sporadic. If you want consistent client coming through your door, you have to leverage high converting content. And that goes to my second strategy, which is long form content. Did you know YouTube is the world's second largest search engine? But why is it that so many coaches and so many consultants aren't leveraging YouTube as a platform? Because when someone spends time to binge on your content, they're very likely to convert into high paying clients. YouTube is a search platform. The people that go on YouTube aren't going there to escape from their life. So I believe on Instagram and TikTok, most people go to escape from life, right? They feel like life is tough. They want to just relax. They want to watch cat videos, dog videos. But people who go on YouTube intentionally are looking to grow themselves, whether professionally or personally. So this is why it's a very smart decision to start focusing on YouTube. And on YouTube, the content you post on there is evergreen. You post one time and people keep finding the videos. And then if you position your call to action properly, they're going to start joining your mailing list. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that. It also gives you expert positioning. I also said earlier that the post you post on Instagram, most times after 24 hours, it expires. But when you post on YouTube, you keep generating leads months and even years after publishing. Why does the platform work? So I already said some of these evergreen traffic. So you optimize your content using AI. I use AI. I'm going to show you how I do that. I optimize all of my content on YouTube using AI, and then it generates leads for me that way. So what that means is if you hopefully you all know what search engine optimization means. It means when you post something, you optimize it with SEO rich keywords so that your target audience, your dream clients find you on that platform. There is also higher conversion. Research shows that viewers who watch 10 plus minutes of your content are highly likely to buy from you. Okay, let's talk about how you can implement this. On YouTube, I want you to focus on the core questions your clients are asking right now. So, for your individual niche, your dream clients have questions. your content on YouTube has to answer those questions. For example, I'm going to go back to the real estate example. If your dream client is looking to invest in Las Vegas on properties, what questions will someone who wants to invest in real estate in Las Vegas, what kind of questions will they have? So many questions. What is the property market like in Las Vegas? When is the best time to buy? Obviously, you can tell I'm not a real estate expert, but you know the questions your people have. And so you would answer those questions in 20 minutes videos. That's your content on YouTube. And you're doing this only once per week. Like I said, I use AI to write all of my SEO, my description, my tags. I just use a prompt on my chat GPT, give it the transcript of my video, and it gives me all of the YouTube elements. I just need to copy and paste, which is crazy. If you have any questions, put them in the chat. I'm going to come and answer all your questions because I know I'm going through a lot of content now and I know you have questions. The third strategy I use is my monthly workshops. So many people, coaches and consultants, service providers are now leveraging monthly workshops. This is where you show value in a consistent way. Why workshops? Because obviously you're all smart business owners and you know one-on-one sales calls isn't scalable. If you build your business just doing one-on-one sales calls, you're going to burn out. Okay. So have a high converting workshop or a masterclass where people can come in, you give them incredible value, and then you make an offer for next steps. Okay. What I find is that in 2025, premium buyers, they want transformation. They don't just want information, right? We're in the world of ChatGPT. ChatGPT can give you all the information you want. In fact, right now there's so much information overload. So if you want high ticket buyers, you need to offer transformation. For example, if you're a weight loss coach, instead of telling people on Instagram that you can help them lose weight, why not actually help them lose weight? In fact, my coach says instead of telling people you can help, show them you can help by actually helping them, right? And one of the ways you can do this is with your workshops. This is where you give them value and give them results ahead of time. So, why do workshops work? Workshops work because you're creating an immersive environment, right? Right now, the world is so distracted. There's so much distraction. We have families to take care of. Most people have full-time jobs. There's media, right? The news, so many things vying for your dream client's attention. So if you run one monthly workshop, that is space for you to create an immersive environment for people to come focus on their goals, right? So if you help people with goals, which I know, Kiana, that's your niche, right? If you created a workshop where people come and for 60 minutes you give them value, it gives them that sense that you can actually help them. And the goal here is to be consistent. Okay. I have a number of my colleagues at the beginning of this year. We all started running monthly workshops together, and a number of them, after two workshops, they just gave up. Right? People want to see consistency. High ticket buyers, they want to see you doing things consistently. So far, I have done 12 workshops this year, so you can see how I am so consistent. And here's the tip, my friends. Your workshops goes into your YouTube. Okay. When you set up your YouTube channel, your workshop content goes on your YouTube. It adds to the content. Also, you leverage time. I already mentioned this. Instead of trying to convert people one-on-one on sales calls, if you convert, let's say, 10 people on a call, so if you did a big workshop, you post on Eventbrite, Meetup, you get people into the workshop, and let's say you have 20 people on your workshop and only 10 people converted, imagine the conversion compared to having one-on-one calls to all of those people. So running a workshop is a very smart way. How do you implement this? Choose one monthly signature topic. So remember I talked about what your people are searching for, your dream clients. What are they searching for? Choose just one topic, focus on that one topic and give them value. Okay? And you can use your custom GPT to do this as well. Drive registrations using your email list, your YouTube content, your guest appearances on other people's podcasts. And here's the key, my friend, your workshop has to be value packed. If you start a workshop and you're just pitching people your offer, people are going to drop off. Um, I actually added this link, but if you go on my YouTube channel and you search for Manifest More Money, you're going to see this YouTube video. It was a masterclass I did. And in this masterclass, someone paid me live 5K to join my program without a discovery call. So when people watch it, they're like, oh my gosh, how did you do that? There is a framework. How do you sell one to many in a workshop setting? So go on my YouTube channel if you want to see live how that person paid. And here's the beauty. The person unmuted himself on the call to tell everybody he had paid. And from that call, I think 4 more people on that call paid the next day to join my program. So this is very powerful strategy if you want to sign high ticket clients consistently. Okay, so these are the 3 systems I use: podcast, YouTube, and workshops. And then I just keep rinsing and repeating. So, like I said, I don't have a VA. I do all of these myself, powered by AI, which is incredible. And I love that so many of you have big goals, right? So this strategy is for people who want multiple 6-figure and even 7-figure businesses, because when you do all of these things one time, you're going to start experiencing the compounding effect of your effort. So this strategy is for people who want to do multiple 6 figures and 7 figures. Now, even though I've given you these 3 steps, um, I want to show you how I can use AI to fast track your results. Okay, and then I'll come to the questions. I'm going to keep my eye on the chat. I'm also looking at the time. I want to leave time for Q&A because I feel like many of you may have questions you want to ask, and I want to help you get unstuck. So surprising how many coaches I have spoken to in the last couple of weeks. For the whole of 2025, they haven't signed one client, which is very depressing, right? And which is why I wanted to do this workshop to show you exactly how I am currently signing high ticket clients consistently. So, can I just use the next 2 minutes? I see we have 20 minutes left. So, I want to use 2 minutes to show you how I use all of these 3 systems and how I can help you accelerate your business. Please tell me in the chat if you are still following me and if you want me to continue. I'm looking at my other screen because that's where my chat is. Yes, Martina said yes. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, Tracy said still following. Awesome. Awesome. I love that. Thank you guys so much. Okay, so my invitation for you is a 6-month group coaching program. This is where I'm going to help you implement these 3 systems. How? First, I'm going to teach you how to use the platform I use. You're going to be matched with podcasts already looking for your expertise. Okay. And the platform I use uses AI to match podcasts to your profile. So, for example, if you were a health coach, you would fill your profile just like I showed you I did for mine, and I'm going to teach you how to do your profile. Then automatically the AI on the platform matches you with podcasts. And here's the beauty. All of those guests hosts who are looking for guests, they are already on the platform. So you'll be messaging the host directly on the platform, which saves you a ton of time. So I am going to help you build your own custom podcast pitch generator. And I'm going to show you exactly what that looks like. In fact, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. We're going to go on Apple Podcast. You choose the podcast and you're going to see how my AI generates the pitch for the podcast so that you know I didn't just make this up. So we're going to do that immediately after this. Also, I'm going to help you create your highly optimized YouTube channel. Now, if you've been on my email list for a while, 2 months ago, I woke up in the morning, it was at 3 a.m. I got a notification from Stripe. Someone had paid me 5K paid in full, but I didn't recognize the name. So I go into my CRM, put in the email. It doesn't exist in my CRM. So I send them an email welcoming them into my program. And I asked them, how did you find me? And she said, I bumped into one of your YouTube videos. And she said, I binge watched your content, got to one of your masterclass replays. There was a QR code on the screen, and that's how she joined my program, just from YouTube. So I'm telling you what works, my friends. I'm going to help you get on 2 podcasts per week. So for the 6 months we'll be working together, you're going to get on 48 podcasts. Gosh, that in and of itself is like gold. So imagine being interviewed on podcast your target audience already listen to, right? So this is not just random podcasts. These are podcasts your target audience already listen to. And I'm going to teach you how to craft your podcast delivery so that it's so compelling, it's so memorable. I'm going to teach you all of that in my program. You're also going to get comprehensive support. We do weekly coaching. You're going to get done for you content using a personalized AI strategist. So I'm going to build you 2 AI tools. One is your AI pitch generator, which I'm going to show you. And the other one is your personalized strategist that has your personal goals and your personal roadmap. So every one of you is at different points in your businesses. That's why I create personalized AI that will guide you step by step on what you need to be doing every single day to reach your goals. Now, when you saw that profile, when I showed you, I listed a list of episodes I've guested on other people's podcasts. You need to have this on your profile to be attractive to other podcasts. So I know most of you haven't been on podcasts, and so I'm going to interview you on my podcast. My podcast is called Joyful Money, and right now my podcast is ranked top 2% globally. Now we have 4.5 million podcasts in the world, and mine is ranked top 2%. So, like, that's incredible, right? And I'm not saying that to boast, but I'm just so grateful for how I've grown. And my podcast is less than 2 years old, right? So, you're going to be interviewed on my podcast, and then you add the link to that episode on your profile so other podcast hosts can see you've been interviewed. Okay. We're also going to do role plays. So we're going to practice your interview delivery on those podcasts. We're going to practice your workshops. So you're going to start hosting monthly workshops because, like I said, premium clients want transformation, not just information. Monthly workshops. So we're going to do the role play of the workshops. We're also going to practice closing one-on-one clients. So when people hear you on other people's podcasts, they're going to send you DMs, right? So when they send you DMs, I'm going to teach you how to close in the DMs, which is crazy, right? And why are we able to close in the DMs? Because they already decided to work with you. Why? They already heard you on that podcast. Okay. So you're not trying to convince them in the DMs. They are just asking you about the logistics of joining your program. Okay. So that's my offer. And now I'm going to show you the AI tool very quickly. But I have a fast action bonus. If you join by midnight on Sunday, I'm going to give you all of my funnels, my actual funnels. So I use Go High Level and I have amazing funnels built. I'm going to show you those funnels. One of them is a lead magnet funnel that has a 7-day nurture sequence. The other one is my workshop funnel. So the funnel you use to join this workshop today, I'm going to give that to you. All you have to do is edit the emails and tailor the emails to you. So I'm going to show you 2 things. First, I'm going to show you the AI generator so you see how it works. And second, I'm going to show you my funnels. I'm sure you're asking, what's the investment to join? The investment is 5K if you pay in full, or if you wanted a payment plan, it's going to be $1,000 per month. If you're interested to join, this is the QR code to join. I'm gonna pull up the AI generator now so I can show you real time. Okay, I'm gonna go to listen notes. Okay, tell me in the comments, do you have any podcasts in mind you want me to pitch to? Because I want you to see that I'm not making this up. So this is listen notes, and I can type any podcast here. If I said business, for example, uh, okay, let's say Enter Leadership Podcast. Okay, so this is a good one. Oh, this is one by Dave Ramsey. Okay, so I love Dave Ramsey. I used to teach in his Financial Peace University. Okay, so I'm going to attempt to pitch this. So let's go to Apple, and I'm just gonna Google this podcast. I'm gonna say search. Okay, this is the podcast on Apple Podcast. And now I'm going to show you my AI generator. So let me just make this. Okay, so I'm going to go to chat. Okay, can you please let me know in the chat if you can now see a screen saying podcast feed generator for Joy Rowland? Yes, awesome, thanks. So all I have to do is say hello or hi. Okay, so I'm going to feed it these three things. So all I have to do is paste this here and then add the podcast name. I'm just going to copy the podcast name. The host name, I'm going to say Dave. His name is Dave Ramsey. And the description, I'm just going to copy the description here. Oops, not letting me copy. Okay, let me go back to this. See if I can copy the description here. So I'm just going to copy this and paste it here. That's all I need, and I'm just going to press enter. Okay. All right. So we're going to scan through very quickly. So this is a personalized speech this AI generator has done for me for this podcast. Hi, Dave. I love everything about the Enter Leadership podcast, especially how you bring real-time coaching and grounded leadership wisdom to the table. Your commitment to helping leaders grow from the inside out deeply resonates with me. That's how I serve the women in my world, and I'll be honored to be a guest on your podcast. I'm Joy Rowland, profitability coach, founder and CEO of Clearcraft, a seven-figure AI development company, and a woman who knows firsthand the cost of staying small. Before I led teams and built scalable systems, I struggled with imposter syndrome and undercharged for my brilliance. Everything changed when I stopped waiting to be chosen and built a business aligned with my values, voice, and wisdom. Today, I help women step into their CEO role, mastering their mindset, refining their business model, and building a reputable path to 10K months. I believe your listeners would appreciate my transparent actionable approach to leadership, especially how I connect profitability with purpose and mindset with momentum. Here are a few topic ideas for you to explore. So now I'm based off of the description of his podcast, my AI is suggesting top topic ideas for this podcast. And then it says, thank you for considering my pitch. I have so much respect for the work you do, and I'd love to contribute to your mission by serving your audiences with honesty, heart, and hard won wisdom. Warmly, Joy Rowland. Super cool. Now, this tool personalizes all of my pitches based off of these three components: the podcast name, the host name, and the podcast description. That's all you need. And that's how I'm able to send over 10 pitches per day on the platform I use and the platform my clients use. So I create this podcast pitch generator for all of my clients. So you're going to get personalized podcast pitch generator so that all you have to do is do exactly what I've done now and you're sending your pitches, which is super cool. Okay, so that's the first thing I wanted to show you. The second thing I want to show you, we have 6 minutes left, but I want to show you very quickly my the funnels you're gonna get access to. Okay, so here is the back end of the funnel. So many of you already saw the front end of the funnels. I'm gonna zoom in so you see. So this is already built for you, right? So all you have to do is edit and then you're good to go. So I want to show you the front end. So you see tree. So if you go on my link tree, you're going to see a number of things. Free workshop, which is the one you're here right now. Um, 5 biggest mistakes. This is a lead magnet. This is another lead magnet. So I'm giving you access to these 3 funnels. So this is the front end. If you go on this one, this is my most popular 10 10K months calculator. I'm going to show you the back end of this so you see how it works. So remember, this is go high level. This will cost you about $97 per month if you wanted to build this by yourself. But I'm going to give this to you as part of my program. So, okay, so this is the 10K months calculator. I don't want you to worry about this because when people see workflows, they start to freak out. But all you need to know is this funnel delivers the lead magnets and then sells them into your high ticket program. Either sells them into your high ticket program or asks them to book a call. Okay, so this is the 10K month calculator. And then this is the masterclass workflow. So this is the workflow you guys are on right now, right? How do I get people to come live? The sequence of emails I send in the backend, you get all of those, right? So this is the fast action bonus I'm offering. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I want to answer your questions because I've been talking for almost an hour. I know you guys have questions. So ask away. Now, like I said, you don't have to show your face if you don't want to. I'm happy to answer your question, whether in the chat or just your voice. Ask away. I'm here to help. Are you overwhelmed? Did I go through so much? Was that too much information, do you think, Tracy?
Kind of, but I'm just really like starting out. So I wouldn't know if I qualified to go on to a podcast, being that I have not started my life coaching business. And so I'm trying to build up the strength to be able to search and get clients. And I know you said interview yourself on podcasts, but how would I interview myself on podcasts when I'm not completely ready to be
Yeah.
interviewed and be able to answer the questions and tell people just who I am and what experience I have with doing a life coaching.
Yes.
That's my concern.
Yeah, great question, Tracy. Yes, you have to be ready. You have to have your offer ready because the interview will be focused around your offer, right? So when you go on those podcasts, they're gonna ask you questions that will bring out your brilliance, right? That's the goal of the interview. So before you go on podcast, you need to have what I call your high ticket transformational offer. It needs to be nailed down. Then that's when you'll be able to actually choose the podcast to go on, right? Because your AI will only recommend podcasts that matches what you offer. Okay, so
Okay.
I'm very happy to help you offline, maybe after this call, to maybe brainstorm what you want your transformational offer to be. So when I say transformational offer, I'm thinking a 6 month transformational offer that will cost around 5K, 10K, 15K, 20K. That's what I mean by a transformational offer.
Okay.
Super glad you're here, and I'm hoping you are getting ideas on what your offer will be,
I'm
right?
trying.
Yeah. So the what I suggest is think about what turns you on, what gets you excited. So that's what you want your offer to be focused on. For example, I started with weight loss. It didn't work. I didn't feel good. And then I went to midlife coaching. I wanted to be a midlife coach. The first person that hired me paid me 5K. And then she got on the call and she said, I look too young to coach midlife. And I said, well, my picture is everywhere. And she goes, oh, I thought you were using your younger self picture. Anyway, that knocked my confidence. And then I landed where I am today. So all that to say, you need to figure out what lights you up, and that's going to be your niche.
Okay. Thank you.
You're most welcome. Um, any other questions? Feel free to type in. Okay, let me go to the chat. Oh, you're most welcome. I love the info. Thank you. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate all the lovely comments. Um, you can unmute and just ask your question with voice. You don't have to come on camera, or type your question in the chat. I know we're at time now, so if you need to go, oh no, before you go, let me give you the free gift. Yes. Okay, so this is what I'm giving you guys. Let me just share my screen again so you can see. Yeah, so I'm giving a free gift for attending live. I'm just gonna drop the link in the chat so you have that. And then I'm gonna share my screen and show you. Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, so let me share my screen. I want to give you this blueprint because I feel like it's going to help you with your journey. So I just dropped the link in the chat for those who are live on the call, and I'm giving you my premium client attraction blueprint. This is a comprehensive guide that you're going to use to start implementing and landing high ticket clients. You're going to see a premium client clarity roadmap. So, for you, Tracy, I think this is going to be very, very useful for you to identify the specific demographics you want to target. Now, when you target your demographic, make sure it's a demographic that can afford your services, okay? If your goal is to serve people without them paying, that's a non-profit. If you want to make money, you have to serve the group of the society that has money to pay. Okay, so this is going to be very valuable for you, Tracy. So that's the client roadmap. And then I have a 90-day premium visibility plan that you can use to do your podcast guesting, your YouTube content, and the monthly workshops. And then your podcast guesting playbook. So in here, I've given you a sample pitch you can use for Instagram DMs. Okay. You're most welcome, Martina. And then your YouTube authority engine, you're going to start brainstorming your content for YouTube. So this blueprint, I'm so proud of me putting it together. I feel like I wish I had this when I first started. And then your signature workshop planner, you're going to start planning your next workshop. In fact, before you go, tell me in the chat, when are you going to have your next workshop? I want you to plan your next workshop. Commit to doing monthly workshops. I tell you, this has transformed my business from night and day. Okay. And then you offer confidence booster. You have that here as well. Like this blueprint is super, super cool. And then you have your weekly action taker. Good. August 11th. Good. So proud of you. I know your name isn't showing on the screen. It says iPhone 8, but I'm so proud of you for choosing a date. I want all of you choose a date and stick to that date. You're most welcome, Tracy. And then final words and next steps. Okay. Thank you all so much. It's been a blast having you. I'm going to send the replay so you have the replay. And I look forward to working with those of you who are looking to join. Thank you.
Thank you.